Hi everyone, this is Arun Reddy here. Welcome to my YouTube channel Arun Reddy Tech for You. Our today topic is class and object. So friends, if you are new to my video and if you want to learn C++, you can go through my channel playlist. In channel playlist, you will find a playlist called C++ where remaining videos are available. And if you want videos in Telugu, there is also another playlist called C++ in Telugu. Not only C++, if you want to learn C, Excel, Excel VBA, MS Office, DBMS, Python, Power BI, you can go to my channel playlist and there the videos are available in Telugu and English. So let us move to our topic. So class and object. So let us see how this class and object are helping us to in forming a OOPS concept. Okay, so how this class and objects are helping in the C++ to create a OOPS concept, right? So let us move to topic, right? So what we are saying here, object oriented programming, in short we call it as OOPS, right? So object oriented programming aims to implement real world entities such as books, house, trees, right? So what OOPS will do here, it will implement programming on the real world entities just like a car, book, house, trees, right? So now what's class and object are doing? C++ is programming language that supports various programming styles including OOPS. That means C++ program also supports the OOPS through use of object and classes. So remember, without classes and objects we cannot implement a OOPS concept, right? Okay, so let us see how this class and object will help us in creating OOPS concept, right? So first of all, what is class? Okay, a class is a collection of objects. So what you are saying, a class is a collection of objects, right? A class contains blueprint or prototype from which objects are being created. What you are saying, a class contains blueprint or prototype from which objects are created. So what do you mean by this collection of objects? Mean, for example, if I say fruits, then objects can be apple, mango, banana. So all together what we will call fruits, right? So class will be fruits and object will be apple, banana, mango. So that's why we are saying a class is collection of objects, right? Suppose if I say a class is a blueprint. Okay, a class is a blueprint of a building. Now same kind of building if you construct, then it will become a object, right? But blueprint is class and building is object. So that's why what you are saying, a class is a contain blueprint of prototype or an object, right? So it is a logical entity that contains some attributes and methods. See, what we are saying, class is logical entity. That means it doesn't exist physically. It is a logical entity. Just like we have said, building, if you say a building is an example of object and blueprint of a building is class. So blueprint doesn't exist, right? It will exist only paper, right? But building will exist really, right? So that's the difference between a class and object. Okay, so for example, if you say blueprint, it is what it is a class. And then what is object? Object is an entity that has state and behavior. So what it has? State and behavior. What class contains attributes and methods, and object contains state and behavior, right? Associated with it, and it may be any real world object like mouse, keyboard, chair, table, pen, etc. We said, just like we said, right? Okay, now you can see the difference. So this is class and this is object. This is a logical entity and this is a physical entity. So this is a blueprint. See, that's why we said class is a blueprint of object. So I hope you understood the definition of the object and class. Now let us see how this will help us to create in the programming. Okay, right? So first let us see the difference exactly, so you can understand clearly what is before going to the program. Class is a blueprint. Okay, object is a real world. That means it exists really. Class is just a blueprint. It's a logical entity, it's a physical entity. That logical entity means it doesn't exist really physically, but object exists physically. Okay, for example, fruits, car. Okay, example, fruits, car for the class, and objects banana, apple, mango, and BMW, Ferrari, Audi. Okay, so for example, if you say fruit as a class, banana, apple, mango is the object. But if you say class as a car, then BMW, Ferrari, Audi are the objects, right? So I hope you understood the concept between a class and object. Now let us see what is class and how to create the class. Okay, So class contains generally variable, method, or you can also say attribute, functions, or you can also say data members. So there are different names: variables, attribute, data members, methods, functions. Like this we have a different names. Don't get confused with the names. Okay, for example, class is a dog. Okay, then the variables or attributes are name, color, breed. Okay, so method or function will be run, eat, sleep. Okay, so I hope you got the difference. Okay, so what is the variables and what is the methods, right? Now let us see how to create a class. Now to create a class, we use first keyword is class. Okay, class space class name. Class space class name can be anything. For example, if you want to create a student, so you can say class student, right? Access specifier can be anything. Okay, so access specifier, data member, method, function. So class contains access specifiers, data member, method, function. Now you may have a doubt, what is this access specifier, data members and method functions? I will give a small definition to make you understand. So first of all, data members, there are variables. Just now we have taught, we have discussed variables, data members or attributes, all are same, right? So for example, just now we have seen breed, okay, color, all this will come under the data member functions, or we can also say as a methods, right? So function declare inside a class, also referred as method, member method. Okay, now what is access specifier then? Access specifier, we can control access to the members of the class using access specifiers. There are three access specifier: public, private, protected. Public means anybody can access from the outside. Okay, private, declare private means can access, okay, can only access within the class only can access. If it is protected, declared as a protected, can access within the class by derived class. Okay, so only derived class. Now you may get confused all these things, right? So we have a separate topic next. After this we will discuss in detail what is this access specifiers, specifically what is this data members and member functions. Okay, right? So suppose if you don't specify any access specifier, by default it will take as private. Okay, see, the private specifier is applied member by default. Suppose if you don't write also, it's okay, it will take by default as private. Now let us go to the example so to understand easily, right? Now you can see here class name. What is class name? My class. And what is access specifier? Public. What is access specifier? Public. Now what is data member? Int value. Okay, now what is member function? Void show. Okay, so this is how we can write a normal example, right? So now here my class is what it is. My class is a class. Int value is a data member, and void show is a member function, right? So these are the what we have seen just now in the syntax, right? Now let us go with a small program to understand in depth. Okay, now before going to the program, we should know how to create an object. Remember, you cannot run a program without creating an object. Why? Because if you create a class, you have created a structure, but when you create object, then only the memory will be allocated to the class, whatever the class you have declared, right? So what we are saying here, when a class is defined only specific, that means attributes and behaviors, or we can also say as variables and functions. For the object is defined in memory, is no memory. See, no memory is allocated to class definition. To use the data and access function defined in the class, so we need to create object. So what you are saying here, of course, when you declare a class, it will have a attributes and behavior, that means methods, data members and functions, but it will not have any memory. To create a memory, again it is must to create a object. So only class cannot work. Okay, if you define only class, it will not work, right? So for that you have to allocate memory by creating object. Now you will come now you will know what is object. Okay, so till now we have just known why we required object to create a memory, right? Now objects are real actual entities that are created in the instance of a class. Okay, that means just we can say for example, if I say dog, Tommy, dog will become a class and Tommy will become a object, instance of a class, right? So they can be in as many objects of a class as derived. So there can be Tommy, there can be Jackie, there can be different names we can have, right? So that's like that we can create by using same class, we can create different objects, multiple objects also we can create, right? So how to create object? Once a class is defined, we can create object in the same way we declare a variable in any other inbuilt data type, right? For example, class name, object name. Remember, this should be written in the main program, right? So first we'll write the class, then we'll start the main, right? So main program we have to declare the object, right? So statement create of object class name. Okay, so let us see with example. Okay, before that, member access. How to access? Now you have said you have to create an object. How you have created? But how to access? We use dot. Okay, now when you give an object name dot, again attributes, or you can say data members, right? So dot operator is used. What we use? Dot operator. Okay, so dot operator is used to assign the value or to call the access the value, right? So let us take a small example. See, you can see here this is a program. Okay, so in this first one you can see here access, this is a class, from here to here it's a class. So what we have in the class name, just now we have seen the syntax, class name, that is nothing but student. Public, now this is access specifier. Now what is public means anybody can access. Okay, so we have a private, protected, also public, right? Next, int id means id is a variable, now it is a integer. String name is a variable and it is a string, right? Now these are the data members. Here we don't in this program I didn't write the member function. Next program I will write the member function to make you understand easily step by step, right? Now what I have done, where I have created object, see, student s1. Now s1 is object. What we have said, how to create a object? Class name space object name, that means student space s1. Now s1 is object. Now how to access? Just now we have, once again we'll go to the step by step. Okay, so how to create a class name, access specifier, data members, and method. See, I didn't specify the methods. Okay, and coming to the objects, what we said, class name space object. How to access? Again dot, right? So here also see, s1 dot id is equal to 201, s1 dot name. To access also we use dot, and to print, see, is object dot attributes of class, s1 dot id, s1 dot name, right? So what happens here? It will create object, that means create memory. It will take id as 201, name as Sonu Jaswal. Again it will print as s1 dot id means it will print 201, and s1 dot name means Sonu Jaswal, right? So let us see a small program, right? Now we are back to the Dev C++. Now you can see here I have written the same program, right? Now what happened here is, first it will create int id, string name, right? Only objects are created, only class and data members are created. When I say student s1, now s1 is the object. So what happens? Memory will be created. Now s1 dot id. Now s1, what it is doing? It is using the class attributes, s1 dot id, s1 dot name, right? So now 201 Sonu Jaswal, and it will print, see, s1 dot id means 201 and s1 dot name means Sonu Jaswal. So let us run this program so you can understand easily, right? So let me run, right? See, 201 Sonu Jaswal, right? Okay, now coming back to our topic. Now here we didn't use the member functions, right? Member function or method, right? Now let us use the method. Okay, so next program, see what I have done. Instead of printing here, I said s1 dot display. Now what is s1 dot display? Did you remember the functions? Calling function, call function. Now when I say s1 dot display, it will refer to here. Now void display. What you have in the void display? Cout. Okay, you can write cout 2 times, id, name. Okay, just like we have written here. But simply what I have done, I just said cout id name, right? Now let us see. Okay, now you may have it out, sir, you didn't wrote s1 dot id and s1 dot name, right? Why? Because when I am passing the value, I said s1, that means s1 object contains ID 201 and name as Sonu Jaiswal. So automatically when I say s1 dot display, the values in the ID and name will be 201 and Sonu Jaiswal, right? Now let us execute this program. Again we are back to the JC++. So I have taken the same program. Okay, so let us run and check, compile, okay, and run, right? So when I run, see 201 Sonu Jaiswal, right? So what happens here means, after when first it has created int ID, then string name. So after that it has created object student s1. Now s1 dot id is equal to 201, s1 dot name, that means name we are using from the again class attribute, that is Sonu Jaiswal. And when I say s1 dot display, again it will jump to here and it will print 201 and Sonu Jaiswal, and it will come out. Nice. So friends, I hope you have enjoyed the video, and if you like the video, please do like and share the video to your friends. Thank you.